So today we're looking at some applications of scaled copies, especially with triangles. We started by looking at these two triangles and what do we notice and what do we wonder? And we noticed that both of them had a 90-degree angle. We also noticed that where the two triangles touch, those angles were marked to be equivalent or congruent angles. And eventually, and some of you already knew, that all the angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees, which means if two of the angles are the same in a triangle, then all three of the angles are the same measurement in the triangle, creating scaled copies. And so we were looking at corresponding sides, and side AB is between the right angle and the congruent angle down here at B, so that means side BD corresponds. And sometimes it's helpful to draw the triangle sitting in the same direction. So we have side A, side C, and side B. And if I bring out my pen, my colored pen again, I've got this angle is B, here's my right angle, and then I colored this one in blue. And so if we draw the other triangle in the same direction, thinking about those angles, this is the one we colored in yellow. This is our 90-degree angle right here. And then our angle that's colored in blue up here, which means that this is B, this is D because it matches the color scheme, and this one is E. So side AB and side DB are corresponding sides. Side AC and side DE are corresponding sides. Sorry, I forgot my pen, so I'm using my fingers to write here. Here's another situation where we have two scaled copies of triangles, and it says name the triangles. So we have triangle ABC and triangle EDC. And it says sketch the triangles sitting in the same direction, labeling their points and their sides. So this angle marking here is going to be really important. And later we'll learn that these angles that are directly across from each other are congruent, which means that our third angle is also congruent. So if I draw my triangles, I have this big triangle that I'm going to leave in the same direction. And this is A, B, C. And I know AB is 7. And then going this way, I want to turn this one around so it's facing the same direction and that right angle is in the same position. All right, so now I need to label the sides of my little triangle. Well, the right angle is E, so that's the one I'm going to go for first. And then the hypotenuse, the diagonal line, goes from D to C. So this is C and this is D, because DE and CE make up the right angle. And we know that CE is 3 and DE is 2. So it says, what is the scale factor from the small triangle to the large triangle? Well, 7 halves, or 3.5. Find the length of side AC. So we're going to do 7 halves times 3/1, which gives us 21 halves, or 10.5. And here's an example of a problem where we might use this. We have a pond that we're trying to find the distance across the pond here, x. And so the angle down here, M, is going to be the same. And we have our right angle. So I'm going to make my triangle. I'm going to redraw my triangles. You don't have to, but I find it helpful. So I'm going to leave P, L, and M. And then I'm going to turn the bigger one around. And R is my right angle. And RQ makes the vertical part, and M is in the same position. And so we know LM is 70. We know MR is 175. And we know RQ is 150. And we're trying to find LP. So we want to find the scale factor from the big one to the small one this time. So I'm going to do 70 divided by 175, and we end up with 2/5. And so then we do 150 times 2/5, and we end up with 60 meters across the bridge, or across the... And then we did one more type of triangle. Again, there are 2 scaled triangles in this copy, in this picture. We can see the big one, ABE, and then there's a small one that doesn't really have any points labeled, but it's right here, and so and this is point B. And again, the angles are the same, so it's congruent. Now, in the small one, this is 4, and this is 3. In the big one, this side AB, well, part of it's 5 and part of it's 4, so that one is 9, and we're trying to find side AE. So again, I'm going to find my scale factor to my missing side, and the 3 corresponds to the x, so the 4 corresponds to the 9, so my scale factor is 9/4, or 1 1/4. And then we multiply 9/4 times 3/1 to get 27/4, or 6 3/4. And then we just practice different scenarios with those.